Hi guys, today I'm going to be giving a review of the boxing that happened over the weekend. I'm going to give my thoughts on the fight and who I think the winners and losers should fight next. So first we're going to start off with the Ramirez versus Rafael Espinoza card. That was just seeing the fight. Ramirez lost the 12-round decision to Espinoza. So Espinoza is now the new WBO featherweight champion. Espinoza come in undefeated into the fight. I think I said last week that I think Ramirez will win because he's just more well known. He's fought a better level of competition. But Rafael Espinoza really impressed me. He had a really high punch output. It seemed like he was always just punching, and Ramirez couldn't really get anything going. I think Ramirez probably landed the harder shots. He got a big knockdown in the 5th round. He got knocked down himself in the 12th round, but I think that was more from just exhaustion. I think Espinoza's record shows that he's a puncher, but I don't think he is that much of a puncher. I think it's just volume that's got his opponents out of there. But nonetheless, a big win, and he's a dangerous threat to the featherweight division. He's a top fighter, obviously, if he's just beating Ramirez, who's a very good fighter in his own right. Yeah, I was really shocked by it. I think for the two next, obviously Espinoza, he'll probably try and get unification fights. So if he gets signed to Top Rank, he'll probably get a Lopez fight. But I think Top Rank will try and do the rematch potentially between Ramirez and Rafael Espinoza. I just think Top Rank have put a lot of investment into Ramirez, I think, and I feel like they'd probably want him to be the champion because he's a bigger name, and yeah, I think it's a close enough fight to have a rematch, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a rematch. Ramirez, I think, if he doesn't get the rematch, I think he should fight Direct Gonzalez. He's been around, he's fought for the world title 3 times. He's only lost to Stevenson, Navarrete, Dogbo, and Lopez as well. So this could go one of two ways. Either they're going to get the rematch, or Espinoza will probably try and get unification, and Ramirez will probably fight Gonzalez as a interim fight until he could potentially get another world title. Then we've got the Regis Prograis versus Devin Haney card. I thought this fight would be much closer. I thought Devin Haney would win just with his jab. I thought it'd be quite a boring fight, but Devin Haney won the fight 120 to 107 on all the cards, and it wasn't a boring fight. Devin Haney absolutely dominated. He dropped Regis Prograis in, I think, the 3rd round. Big right hand. His jab was constantly landing. His foot speed, his defense, everything was on point. Whenever Regis Prograis came in, it's like Devin Haney had like a sensor that just said, Regis Prograis coming in now, and you just pivot with a left hook pivot. He'd land a big uppercut. It's constantly just, and I thought his right hand was much improved. I thought he had much more power at 140, which people spoke about. I think I spoke about that in the preview. Really impressive performance by Devin Haney, and I'm interested to see what happens with the two of them now. I wouldn't be surprised if... Devin Haney, amazing performance. Potentially the best performance of his career, because the Lomachenko fight was quite close. I don't know how Devin Haney made 135 pounds. He's absolutely massive. Regis Prograis has previously struggled to make 140 pounds, and Devin Haney made him look small. He'll, in the next year or two, I wouldn't be surprised if Devin Haney moves up to 147 pounds. Yeah, interesting to see what happens in that division. So next for Devin Haney, I'd say there's probably three options for him. I'd say my favourite option would be the Teofimo Lopez fight, because I think that would be who is the best of the division. That would definitely find it out. That would obviously be for the Ring Magazine title as well. And then the second choice I'd have is Ryan Garcia. Big fight, in-house, well, not in-house, it's on the same, no, both fighters on the same broadcaster in DAZN. And then the third fight, which I don't want, but apparently it's going to be ordered by the WBC, is a Sandor Martin fight. I personally think that'd be quite a boring fight. Both fighters will try and outbox the other. Sandor Martin's a very boring fighter, I think. So I probably wouldn't watch that fight because I think it'd be quite boring. But let's see what happens. Let's see if the WBC order it. I don't know why Martin would be mandatory, because he hasn't really fought anyone since he's lost to Lopez. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, and then for Regis Prograis, it's an interesting one. I'd say potentially a Liam Power fight. Liam Power won on the undercard, which I'm going to talk about later. Or he said he's not going to move up to £147, so I'm just going to say fights in the £140 division that are potentials for him. Maybe a Matthias fight for a world title, but I think he'd probably need to win a fight before that. Maybe a Jack Catterall fight. That was spoken about when they first both signed for DAZN, because I think they both signed for DAZN like in the same month. So I think that was the fight that was initially supposed to happen, or was expected to happen, but it hasn't happened. I'd like to see a Regis Prograis versus Jack Catterall fight, and then the winner fights for a world title. So on to the next one now. Liam Power beat Montana Love with a 6th round knockout. Very impressive by Liam Power. I thought it was going to be a bit of a more of a cagey fight. I thought both guys trying to get to that elite world level to challenge for world titles. Liam Power was definitely punching more. Montana Love had a very low punch output. I thought he had some good counters though. I think Montana Love kept on going to his left side when he would slip to the left side, which Liam Power caught onto in about the 4th round, and then he changed the direction of his backhand and caught Montana Love quite a few times. He dropped him in the 6th round with an uppercut first, and then straight after the ref's 10 count, he then comes out, double jab, backhand, and knocks him down again, and then forces the stoppage with a barrage of punches. Montana Love, I thought he was going to be better than what he's turned out to be so far. There's obviously still time for him to improve. But he definitely needs to improve on some things. He needs to throw more punches. He can't just rely on being the counter puncher. He needs to do more feints to get punches from the opposition to counter. He struggled in the fight when Liam Power was throwing loads of punches, I thought. Combinations of punches, because he was just landing one punch at a time. I think next for Liam Power, like I said, potentially a Regis Prograis fight. However, I don't know if Regis Prograis would have that fight if a Jack Catterall fight is an option. But maybe Jack Catterall is going to fight Josh Taylor. And Regis Prograis has agreed to fight Liam Power before, and the fight got called off. So potentially a Regis Prograis Liam Power fight. If not a Regis Prograis fight, I'd say Richardson Hitchens, and then the winner of that fights for a world title. Richardson Hitchens is coming off a big win against William Zepeda. Interesting to see what happens with Liam Power next, because he's in that level now, just below the world champions. There's Matisse, Devin Haney, there's Lopez. I wouldn't say Rolly's on that level, even though he's a world champion. And then just below that, there's the Ryan Garcias, Ramirez, there's the Liam Parrow now, there's the Richardson Hitchens, there's the Dalton Smith if he gets one more win, there's the Jack Catteralls. So yeah, it's an interesting division. Potentially one of the most exciting in the sport, I'd say, with all the £135 fighters moving up to £140 now. And I'm sure Shakur Stevenson will soon be in the division. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens next. For Montana Love, though, potentially a rematch against Steve Sparks, who we got a disqualification loss to. I don't know who I can recommend for Montana Love, to be honest. Maybe a Dalton Smith to get onto that level. Although Eddie Hearn has said Dalton Smith will probably be fighting in February or March, and I can't see Montana Love fighting that soon after a knockout loss. Yeah, it's difficult with Montana Love what to recommend for him, but I guess we'll have to see what Eddie Hearn does for him. Then we've got a very special talent in Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz beat... I've forgotten the guy's name, sorry. Andy Cruz beat Giovanni Straffon. I thought this was going to be a good step up for him. He knocked him out in the third round. Amazing, just amazing performance. His footwork was amazing. His defense was amazing. His attack was amazing. Every time he'd throw combinations, he'd then move his head or slip out of range and just wouldn't get hit. It was very hard for Straffon to land anything on him. Really impressed with Andy Cruz. And I look forward to him challenging for a World Cup title, because I'm sure soon he will be challenging for world titles, and it'll be really interesting to see what he can do, because I'm sure he's already on that world level. I would say next he needs to fight a top 15 opponent, which Eddie Hearn has said also in the post-fight. I think Eddie Hearn's talked about Frank Martin and who's the other one he spoke about? George Kambosos, saying Andy Cruz is like a level above them, basically. I do agree with that. I do agree Andy Cruz is that good. His footwork is just amazing. Anytime Straffon would come close to him, it would be a left hook pivot or just a step back. It looked so effortless from Andy Cruz, and I'm really excited about him to see what he could do in the future. So for him, I'd recommend, or I would like to see him fight. I can't see him fighting Kambosos. Kambosos is going to fight for the world title. Can't see him fighting Frank Martin, because Frank Martin's currently fighting on PBC, and I don't think they'd let him go to the zone. I'd love to see a Keyshawn Davis fight in the professionals to see who goes on to the world level. I think Andy Cruz would win that. I don't think it'd happen, because Andy Cruz has beaten him like 3 times in the amateurs, I think. I don't know. Potentially a Maxie Hughes fight. Maxie Hughes coming off that controversial loss to Kambosos. Because I think Maxie Hughes will probably be quite well ranked in the IBF. And then the winner of that fights the winner of Kambosos and Lomachenko, or maybe try and get into a good position in one of the other governing bodies. Like Javonte Davis is saying he's not going to have the WBA title, so potentially a fight against someone to get that title. I just want to see Cruz fight someone in the top 15 next and win a world title by the time he gets to 5 fights, because I think he is that talented. I think he's a special talent, and my dream fight for him would be against Shakur Stevenson. I'd love that fight, him versus Shakur Stevenson. I think it'd be very technical, and and it wouldn't be good for the average fans, or not average fans, more casual fans potentially, if they want to see lots of punches thrown, back and forth action. because I think it'll be more technical. But I guess we'll have to see. It could be a fight of the year contender. Andy Cruz. What really impressed me about Andy Cruz as well is in his first fight he seemed to not sit down on his punches, maybe a bit more of like the amateur style that he had before, but now he's seeming to sit down on his punches more. He's got a lot of power. I wouldn't say a lot of power, I think he's got good power. If he wants to just box people, he can keep them off him with his power. I'm really excited for what's next for Andy Cruz, and I will be talking about it when it gets announced. Then we've got Chris Billam-Smith against Masternak. I haven't actually seen the fight, I've just seen the highlights, and what I've seen from the highlights it looks quite close, but Sky could make it seem that the fight was a lot closer than what it was, because Chris Billam-Smith is the home fighter, and I haven't seen the fight, but I've heard from a couple of people that apparently Masternak was outboxing Chris Billam-Smith, which is quite surprising. Chris Billam-Smith got the stoppage between the 7th and 8th round. Masternak's corner pulled him out, claiming it was a rib injury. Interesting. I haven't seen the fight, like I said, so I'd have to see it fully. It's not out on Sky's YouTube channel yet, so I'll need to see that to have a good analysis of it. I think next for Chris Billam-Smith should potentially be Richard Riakporhe. I think Richard Riakporhe needs to fight for a world title, and I think he fought 2-3 weeks ago now. He fought on the Adam Azim undercard. I think that would be a good fight to see. I'd love to see Chris Billam-Smith have a rematch against Richard Riakporhe, who is the only loss of Chris Billam-Smith's career. Richard Riakporhe deserves a world title, I think. And I think that'd be a good domestic clash to potentially start the new year. Or probably wouldn't start the new year, but it would be a good fight to see in the first half of next year. Thank you guys for listening. Please like and subscribe and comment what you like about the videos, what you don't like about the videos, if you'd like me to make any different videos. Thanks guys.